I'm back at it. The last time I worked on this, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning when I was finishing up, and like an idiot, I put the circuit board back in to test fit it and absentmindedly plugged the little connectors back in. Don't do that, because then you got to take them all back apart. They came out okay. You just got to be patient and wiggle. But I was gonna put the little springy thing on the button, and I'm gonna put a stop, so I was gonna drill a hole through there. And I noticed that it didn't quite bond right. That happens sometimes with hot glue. So it like bonded to the pot, but then part of it didn't actually bond to the plastic. Probably wasn't quite hot enough when I squirted it in there. So I'm gonna take it back out. And for that, I like to just kind of squeeze and pick. And I think this will pop right out. Yep. Dug it right out of there. Because it wasn't really stuck good to the plastic. I'll rough it up this time and make sure I get it good hot when I squirt it on there. Okay, so popped right out, and I can redo it. So that's why I recommend using hot glue, because in just a couple minutes, I used some needle nose and I picked it all out and it came right out. If you used any other type of glue, yeah, it would have stayed, but let's say you got some glue in the pot and now you've used like, whatever, Gorilla Glue or whatever, you're gonna have a hard time getting that out without destroying something. So I roughed it up real good and I got it back in there. It's really hard to get an angle to get glue in good spots. So I popped this guy out. This is the encoder wheels that are on here. It all comes out in one piece. It's kind of snapped in and you just pull straight out. It comes right out. But I want to get a little bit of glue down in there. All right, I think I'm happy with that for now. I'm gonna let it cool off for a while. Make sure it bonded good, but I'm gonna drill a hole, like 1 millimeter diameter hole. And so this is the center of it. I'm gonna drill it right here, right next to the metal. That way, when it pokes through, it'll come out right there. It'll ride underneath that. Then you can just put a couple little drops of hot glue to set the stops you want, because these are like 300 degrees turns. which is great for precision, but it's a little too much sometimes because you're kind of doing this thing. It's hard to go one full and back the other way. So if you set it a little less, maybe like 180, like 90 each direction, you still get good precision, but you can pretty much go full lock to full lock without resetting your thumb. And it kind of helps you keep track of where center is. That's just kind of a personal preference comfort thing. You don't have to add that little thing. It is add a little more complications to something already complicated, but it's a nice radio, so I might as well take my time and do it right. All right, so 1mm drill bit, little pin vise, straight in the side right here. Try to go straight through. This one went out a little bit, but it'll still work. And then get a nice little hole like that. Piece of 1mm music wire, just kind of test and fit in this. Alright, so I got the knob on. Yeah, so it went out a little bit instead of straight through. So barely rubbing on the inside of that. I can live with that. But when you do one of these, make sure you get it close enough to the pot that it actually goes under the knob. I can bend that a little bit and it'll be fine. So then what I need to do is, instead of trying to like judge how long I need, what I'll do is I'll take this out, I'll put a little bend in it, cut that off so that it'll fit right there and give it some strength so it won't just, be this straight piece. And I'll make that way longer than it needs to be. And I'll trim it down, test fit, trim down, trim down. That way I can get it riding right under the inside corner of that. Put a little bend in it. I'll pull it down there. I'll bury that in hot glue. And then I can trim what I don't need off over here. So for the little springy doodad, basically what I've done is tried to just hot glue it back on. And then the little peg that I cut out at the top, I'm going to try to hot glue to the bottom. It doesn't really need any strength at all. It just keeps it from rattling. So we'll give that a try. Seems like it's working. So Got the pot soldered, or hot glued. Got the stops hot glued. The little post thingy seems to work. It's not loose. And it still works. I'm not sure that'll stay on there forever, but just because it's such a tiny piece of plastic, but we'll give it a shot.